What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Sly Jordy, and welcome back to F1 25 Driver Career Mode for the final episode of Season 1. Don't worry, we will be doing the Season 2, obviously, but I know I've gotten a few questions in the last few episodes, or across the last season, should I say, from newer viewers. We'll be doing multiple seasons around pretty much the full year of F1 25 leading up to F1 26, so don't worry about it at all. But this is it. What a season it has been at Visa Cash App Racing Bulls. Our first season in Formula 1, and a P4 is pretty much secure at this point. This race literally does not matter in the grand scheme of things. We are not fighting for anything. It was pretty much secured last episode, or rather a couple episodes prior, when we won at Las Vegas. Of course, if you missed last episode, you really didn't miss all that much in the grand scheme of things, unless you wanted to see me lose or whatever. It did not go well for us at all. We did get a fastest lap out of it, but that was completely down to our two-stop strategy. I think maybe we might have gone with the wrong strategy. I think the two-stop was the right decision, but starting on the softs wasn't. I think if we'd have gone mediums to hards, or mediums to hards to mediums, we might have had a better result. We were only about 2-3 seconds off of points by the end of the Grand Prix. It was going really well for us towards the end, and we managed to have a nice little battle with Yuki Tsunoda on the final lap, but it was only for P12, so we weren't really fighting for anything. But again, this is going to be our last race at VCARB. We'll be signing to Aston Martin for Season 2 unless the game wants to do something weird, but we have been having secret meetings with Aston Martin, so yeah, and it's been really cool, honestly. It's been really cool to finally experience all the things that I was really excited for with F1 24. But that game's racing, that game's gameplay was just so bad. I didn't even want to bother, you know? And I was just really looking forward to experiencing the new contract system, the R&D shake-up, which is going to be really cool. I think it's R&D modifiers or whatever that we'll be able to do for Season 2. And then in this game in particular, we get the reverse tracks as well. I'm really looking forward to Season 2. But before then, of course, we have one more race to go for our first season, so I obviously want to make it a good one. I decided to spend the vast majority of my R&D points. As you can see, I completely stopped spending them once it became clear that I was moving to Aston Martin, and obviously the new regulations were coming in, so I just focused on protecting the parts. But then obviously I felt, well, why not just spend all the points that I have? It might make things a little bit more interesting if VCARB have a really good car next season, and you know, maybe they might be one of the best. Who knows? I really want to shake things up. I want to have chaotic seasons and ones that are unpredictable. So I've got all of these developments coming in for the VCARB, mostly the aerodynamics, but Isaac Hadjar's got stuff coming in as well, so that's going to be cool. That's not going to come in for this race. That is mainly for Season 2 preparations for VCARB, but yeah, again, it's been a really good season in the grand scheme of things. At one point, we were one of the best teams on the grid. We definitely had the best powertrain on the grid, and we managed to get a bunch of really good results out of that. But yeah, now it's just time to get into the final Grand Prix of the season. There is nothing left to say except let's make our way over to Yas Marina, and it's going to be really interesting to see if anybody makes any upgrades going into this final Grand Prix. I don't see why they would. I don't see anybody fighting for anything at this point. Verstappen has secured the Drivers' Championship. McLaren have secured the Constructors. Literally, there is nothing to fight for going into this Grand Prix except the Grand Prix itself. So I would be really surprised if anybody brought in upgrades going into this. And apparently McLaren did. And it looks like Williams did as well. And Kick Sauber, as well as us, I think that looks like, or maybe not. No, I think Kick Sauber brought in a minor upgrade, it seems. I don't know, but yeah, not too many upgrades. For some reason McLaren did, but maybe they're just prepping for next season with the 2026 regulations. I'm actually going to look into the 2026 regulations just to see if we can maybe match them as much as possible with the R&D modifiers that we have. We'll see, though. I'm actually really excited for it. But, guys, if you're excited for this episode, be sure to hit that like button as hard as you possibly can. Comment, share, and subscribe. If you are new, I want to thank everybody that is new to the channel and that's returning as well. It's been so fun getting back into doing F1 content, and F1 25 has been a phenomenal game all around, except maybe at Qatar. Qatar had some major issues, so we'll see how we can mess around with that in Season 2 to try and make that a bit more playable. I actually ended up turning down the difficulty. I don't know if I said this last episode because I haven't done the commentary over that at the time of recording, but I actually ended up turning the difficulty down at Qatar from 102 or 104, whichever one I had it at, down to 98. That's how difficult Qatar is with the AI acceleration. It pretty much goes around the whole track. We're not going to have that issue with Abu Dhabi. Abu Dhabi, of course, is a track that I've been doing a lot recently in ranked multiplayer. Be sure to check out those episodes. I recently did a live stream as well, trying to get to Elite Division. So if you're interested in that at all, be sure to check it out. I've also got much more content on the channel if you're curious in checking that out. But without further ado, let's stop yapping and let's get into the final race, the final qualifying of F1 25 Season 1.
Welcome along, everybody. It's the fastest day of the week, qualifying Saturday, and we're here in Abu Dhabi.
That's right, here we are in Abu Dhabi for our final qualifying session of Season 1 and in the Racing Bull. And yeah, honestly, what a season it has been. I'm really looking forward to capping this off at one of my favourite circuits on the calendar. I don't know why, I just really do like Abu Dhabi. I like the way it flows, I like the way it looks. It is honestly one of the more appealing looking circuits on the calendar, at least for me. I just really like the the bright blue colours and all the lights all around, and I don't know, I really like it. It's quite similar to Miami in a way, but I do feel as though this is obviously better as we now start our very first qualifying lap around this circuit. And honestly, the cars are just so close at this point, but we're getting worse over time because teams are still upgrading going into the end of the season, which is so strange. It's not as if there's anything to fight for right now. It's just, bragging rights. It's for pride, and yeah, that's pretty much about it. This might be some people's last races in Formula 1 for a while. Who knows what driver moves are going to be happening going into next season. The only one I really know about is, well, my own. This will be my last race in the Racing Bull before we move on to Aston Martin. So there's a good chance that Lance Stroll might end up in the Racing Bull. That's usually what happens in these transfers. Sometimes it's a little different as well, as we're now on to our final qualifying lap. And honestly, the first one wasn't all that bad. We're in P7, of course. Some people are still yet to make their improvement laps, so I don't know where we're going to end up by the end of it, but being in P7 isn't too bad for that first lap. Of course, we've got Aston Martin around us. Hajar has done decently well. I mean, he's in P11, I suppose. Maybe he went for his lap really early. I don't know. Ocon is flying high right now. Really good qualifying lap for him. So even though, I think Haas are right above us in the R&D tree, second worst team. And, Ocon is still able to get a top 10. We just got a load of surprises this season. I'm quite curious to see where Mercedes are going to end up, given how bad they've been this season. But it's been a pretty good lap for us as we do get pushed down to P12 for now. But that is only our first lap, as we are now pushing this improvement lap and final lap just over 2/10. So it's been a pretty good lap as we cross the line. Where are we going to end up? It's P9, so a little below our average, which is around P8, P7, but yeah, I'll happily take P9, that is for sure. Ocon gets a P7, we've got Albon in P6, Russell, well, that pretty much caps off a really bad Mercedes season. Russell starting dead last, right at the back, so barring any penalties happening, that's where he is going to start. But yeah, pretty good qualifying position for us. Let's go down to the grid.
It's the final chapter of the season then here at the spectacular Yas Marina circuit. It's a race where the pole sitter failed to finish in 3 of the first 4 events. A front row start here is by no means a guarantee of victory. So we go into battle once more then, as we get underway at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. The Yas Marina circuit is made up of 3.28 miles of track, featuring 16 corners with 2 very long straights. DRS zones going into the heavy braking zones of both turn 5 and turn 7 offer plenty of potential for overtaking. The circuit comes with its fair share of tricky corners, which will certainly test a driver's braking management. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Oscar Piastri lines up on pole position, with Charles Leclerc alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Norris, Tsunoda, Esteban Ocon, and Hamilton. The rookie, Fernando Alonso, Verstappen, and Lance Stroll. Gasly, Hadjar, Alex Albon, and Bortoletto. Doohan, Hulkenberg, George Russell, and Andrea Kimi Antonelli. Behrman and Carlos Sainz will start from the back of the grid. Now it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track. And alongside me in the commentary box today, a man who I always look up to, which is easier said than done, Anthony Davidson. Here we go then, Ant. Final race of the season. One more dance around the racetrack and plenty of opportunity to show out there that you've still got the quick step.
Absolutely, Crofty. Before you go into the long winter break, you want to show the rest of the world how good you are. The championship's done and dusted. This one is for your own personal pride.
If you go away from this weekend having not given it everything, you're going to be devastated and disappointed for months. So let's get out there and give it a really strong finish and leave it all out on the track.
Well, a really dramatic message from my engineer there. I don't know why he was hyping that up to be such an important race. Like, it doesn't matter whether we finish first, last, or somewhere in the middle. You know, I'm just really excited to do this race around Abu Dhabi, as well as getting it finished so we can finally move on to all the new content that Season 2 will bring. Not only, like, you know, what the randomized career can do, but also, you know, moving to a new team, all the new content that F125 as a game has added, but also all the stuff that we missed in F124 since we never did a second season. But here we go, lining up at the grid in P7 due to a few penalties. Verstappen all the way down in P9. Russell's been pushed up to P17 as we wait for the 5 red lights to go out. We are underway. Oscar Piastri immediately moves to cover off Leclerc. He's starting on pole after Verstappen's penalty. Tsunoda's looking to make a move past Ocon. Meanwhile, Fernando Alonso has made a move past us, diving down the inside into turn 1 there. So already a little bit of a battle going on between ourselves and our future teammate. That's something I will confirm. I've already started recording the next episode, so I can confirm Fernando Alonso is our teammate. It's not done a weird thing where we end up teaming up with Lance Stroll. You know, that would have been worst case scenario. No, we're going to be teaming with Alonso next season, but of course for now we are still enemies as it's 3 wide up ahead. Lewis Hamilton going for a big move, and Esteban Ocon gets overzealous right over the curb, smacks right into the side pod of Yuki Tsunoda. Perhaps that might be damage for Yuki. It's definitely damage for Ocon. As you can see, he has no front wing end plate on the left hand side as we look to make a move around the outside of the Aston Martin, but Fernando Alonso does really well there to stay ahead of us. We're on equal footing with a lot of these guys, but yeah, judging from the rest of the season, a lot of these guys are going to be going for 1 stops. Of course, the default was a 2 stop for us, so a good result could still be on the cards. I don't know, but we got Max Verstappen right behind us, so I definitely want to get a move done on Fernando Alonso potentially as quickly as possible. Otherwise, yeah, we're just going to drop another position, and it's not going to be good. Meanwhile, though, Alonso is right on the back of this DRS train because well, what's going to be a DRS train, because Ocon just doesn't have the grip around a lot of these corners, so he's holding up a bunch of cars. Tsunoda has managed to get past him, so Tsunoda could perhaps catch up to the top 3 as we look around the outside of Alonso. The AI are going to have a bit more acceleration here, of course, as is custom for this year's game. Just like last year's as well, but well, maybe not just like last year, but you know, we don't have to get into the issue as Verstappen now looks to make a move around the outside. We're going to slow down around the inside here as Verstappen goes down the inside of that next corner on the exit, but he doesn't have enough grip to capitalize on it, to make the most of it, and we're able to make another move as Lance Stroll now in his last race for Aston Martin is looking to make a move past Max Verstappen. So Lance hasn't had the worst season ever, given compared to Fernando Alonso. I've seen Stroll in that top 10 more times than not, especially in the last few races. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to taking that seat from him. We're going to do some big things in that Aston Martin seat. At least I hope so. Anyway, as we move on to lap 3, Fernando Alonso finally makes the move past Esteban Ocon. Lewis Hamilton is already up ahead. I think he's already past Yuki Tsunoda. So Tsunoda's definitely got some side pod damage for sure as we go around the outside of Esteban Ocon. So we're basically following Alonso through here. But yeah, I'm 99% sure Tsunoda's got damage after that collision with Ocon. I'm surprised Ocon didn't get a penalty for that. He should have just avoided the curb entirely, perhaps, so he would have got a corner cutting penalty. I don't know. There's not much I could really go on there. I think Lewis Hamilton is to blame for all of that, diving to the inside and making that a 3-wide situation, to be fair. But because of Ocon holding the teams back, holding a bunch of drivers back, Hamilton is nearly 2 seconds up ahead, so me and Alonso have some work to do. But of course, I want to get this move done past Alonso, of course, use the DRS to the fullest, as Hamilton and Tsunoda are still doing battles. So Hamilton's pretty slow in that Ferrari. Ferrari have not been good all season, to be fair. They'll be looking forward to getting this season done and looking forward to the 2026 regulations to restart all over again as we are past Fernando Alonso. However, it's not going to last very long, of course. We still need to catch up to the 2 cars ahead, and there's a DRS zone still waiting for us as Alonso does pass us. I had the objective set, but I think it was ridiculous. I think my engineer is absolutely ridiculous on this year's game. He is just absolutely useless with some of the objectives that he is setting. But Fernando Alonso does pass us, but we will get the opportunity on the next DRS section to retake the position. And as you can see, Hamilton and Tsunoda still doing battle as well. They are just over 1 second ahead, so it really is not going to take us long now to get this DRS move done. But Alonso surprises me there with more grip down the inside, so that just goes to show how much better the Aston Martin chassis is compared to the V-Carb one. 5 laps in, Alonso has much better grip, and moving on to lap 6, he's actually making the move on Hamilton, whilst Verstappen gets past us, but he locks up and we smack into the back of him. A really minor contact, but you know how fragile the wings are in Formula 1. That might be just a little bit of damage. I'm not too sure. I'm checking vehicle condition. Systems all looking good, so we might have gotten away with it there, but Verstappen really in a rush to get a lot of these moves done as we do skip ahead to lap 9. That was pretty much the end of it right there. Tyre wear really coming into play for our car. We've lost the cars in front, and we just had to get comfortable with P8. Pierre Gasly's doing pretty well in the Alpine. He was catching up to me quite a bit, but not nearly enough to cause any issues. So a pretty good first stint from us, all things considered, I suppose. Maybe we could have pit a bit earlier, but on a 2-stop, there's really not much room for it. So we'll just have to move on to our second stint. Hopefully the pit crew do well here. Yes, they do. And we are right back out onto the track on a fresh set of medium tyres. Ocon all the way down in P19 after his pit stop. Oh, no, all the way down in P20. I think he's just made the pit stop. Perhaps he's had a new wing fitted. I don't know. But moving along here, we are 3 seconds behind Yuki Tsunoda. However, Tsunoda is running into our teammate. So our teammate's actually going to get DRS into this next section. And if Hadjar can get a move done on Tsunoda here, that's really going to slow Tsunoda down. As you can see, Tsunoda's already down to 2 seconds just in front of us, as Hadjar has completed the move. So I think the team got on the radio to him and told him to play the team game and slow down Yuki for us. So a very strange radio, given that that is the senior team, but I guess, you know, all bets are off for this final race. There's no real battle going on championship-wise, so yeah, teams can, the junior team can do what they want, and they've got Hadjar holding up Yuki for us, so we've managed to make up 3 seconds to Tsunoda thanks to our teammates. So I'll be thanking Isaac over the radio for that one, as we are now setting our sights on the Red Bull senior of Yuki Tsunoda, who is chasing down Antonelli, who in turn is chasing down the Alpine of Jack Doohan, and then I think it's Lance Stroll just up the road. Oh no, he's not chasing down an Alpine, sorry about that, he's chasing down the Williams of Carlos Sainz. Sorry, when I do these post video commentaries, all the blues sort of blend together, especially Williams and Alpine, so yeah, but there you go, Yuki Tsunoda looking to make a move around the outside of Antonelli. I am desperately looking for an opportunity here, doing the switchback on Kimi right there. Antonelli, of course, is still on his original set of mediums as we get past him and look to save our ERS, but Antonelli is fighting back as we had to squeeze him there, and Tsunoda moved to the inside to cover either us or Antonelli off. Doesn't matter because he left the outside completely wide open, so we managed to make 2 moves there, and we are up into P13 now, following Carlos Sainz. So Yuki Tsunoda's made a grave mistake there, not being able to hold us back, because now we're going to get DRS in the next section from Carlos Sainz. So we'll be looking to get past Carlos Sainz as quickly as possible. He will not be pitting this lap, and neither will Lance Stroll, so we've got a bit of extra time. But Yuki, he's going to try and get in front of us right now, so I have to use a little bit of ERS. He'll be looking down the inside of turn 1, but he decides against it. That would have been a pretty dumb move from him if he decided to do that. But yes, here we go, moving back onto the trackside cameras, and we'll be looking to get past Carlos Sainz. We could have dove down the inside right there, but I feel like getting DRS and slipstream into the main straight is going to be a really good move from us now, as we go to the left of Sainz, make the move. Tsunoda looks to follow us through, but he ends up boxed in here. So yeah, we managed to get the move done for P12, and as you probably see, we did get some wing damage off of running into the back of Verstappen there, but really minor wing damage. It doesn't really make too much of a difference. I don't know how intricate that will be. It could be visual, it could not be, but I'm not really feeling it right now as we go around the outside of Lance Stroll. There's no point fighting us right there. It's a great move for us, and we're up into P11, so there's a good chance that we might be able to score points today. A lot of teams will be doing a one-stop, so we really need to make sure that we're making the most out of every tyre that we're using today. As going on to lap 13 now, this is for P10, as we get past the Alpine of Jack Doohan. Of course, this is not this is only P10 on the road. This is not P10 in the grand scheme of things, as a few cars are still yet to make their pit stop, including the Mercedes of George Russell up ahead in P9. So I don't know where he is in the grand scheme of things. He did start P20 after all. I'll be really fascinated to know where he ends up, because he has had a pretty good last few races. He is pitting now, so maybe that form will continue. Maybe he got blocked in qualifying, I don't know. But yeah, as a bunch of cars make their pit stops, we are up into P6. We'll be just behind Charles Leclerc. Not close enough for DRS, but yeah, we have a lot of space between us and Tsunoda now, who is 4 seconds behind. So yeah, this has been a really good stint for us already. Of course, we still have 4 laps to go, so you know, he could catch up, I don't know. As we now move on to lap 18, I can tell you who has caught up, sorry. It's the guys doing the one-stop, so Verstappen and Alonso, which is such a shame. Tsunoda's not too far behind. But again, yeah, such a shame considering we were battling with Alonso towards the beginning of the beginning of the race. But yeah, that just goes to show where the V-carb is compared to the rest of the cars. Obviously, going into the next season, it could be a lot better given all the regulations. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into the Aston Martin, which will have much better tyre wear and better aero, etc. Maybe not a better powertrain given how much upgrades we put in, but obviously since we stopped doing upgrades, other teams have caught up, so I really don't know how much better the Aston Martin is going to be. But of course we're on our pit lap. I tried my best to keep Verstappen behind me because I knew if I did let him pass I would only be losing myself time. I have to put myself first at this point in the Grand Prix. Verstappen's got no way of winning this race. I think Piastri, Norris and Leclerc are way too far up the road, but who knows, we'll see as we come into the pits. And Tsunoda following not too far behind. I don't know how far behind he is now. It's definitely closer than 4 seconds, that's for sure. But this is going to be our final pit stop. It will be onto the hards. We'll be doing this until the very end of the race. That was our final pit stop as a Racing Bull driver. So yeah, a little bit of a solemn pit stop for us there. I'm going to miss this car. I was so hyped to use this V-carb. Honestly, the livery is literally the reason why we started at V-carb in this career mode. Otherwise, we probably would have started at like Williams or something. But yeah, when they unveiled that livery at the beginning of the season, I was always going to use the V-carb. So coming out of the pits now, the next car up the road is 8 seconds ahead. That is Alexander Albon. We're coming out into P9, so that is pretty much points all but confirmed. Really good for us. Tsunoda 6 seconds behind, Stroll 9 seconds behind as we go through the laps slowly but surely, catching up to the Williams of Albon, whose hard tyres are about 10 laps older at this point. Well, not about 10 laps older, but definitely like 7 laps older or something like that. So there's a big difference, and it does take us up until lap 26. So unfortunately, P8 is all we're going to be able to fight for. So a really good race from the Alpine of Gasly right there. Alpine have pretty much been nowhere all season. I've barely ran into them at all, other than the odd sprint heroics from Jack Doohan. I really have not seen much from Alpine the whole season. It's been a really nothing burger of a season for them, but Gasly's had a really good race for that one stop. So the chassis is looking pretty good for Alpine at the very least. Gasly confirming that P7 as we now go onto the onboard of Alexander Albon to see how he defends against us. 3 laps to go, or at least 2.5 laps to go. And it is going to be us versus Albon for P8 as we view behind him on this onboard as we get closer and closer towards him. It's not going to be this section, but it will be the next section. We'll be gaining time through this section alone because of the lack of grip that Albon will have at this point. Of course, our tyre wear will quickly catch up to Albon, probably around this point because of how much we've been pushing to get this done. But around the outside we go, and yeah, the move is pretty much done, of course. So yeah, P8, pretty much where we started, I think. Or did we start P7 because of all the penalties? I don't know. But either way, given the strategy and given where our car is at in the R&D tree, it's been pretty good. So here we are, of course, on our final lap as a Racing Bull driver and the final lap of Season 1 in F1 25. And I just want to tell you guys, thank you. Thank you so much for all the support that we've gotten throughout this season. The amount of views that I've gotten on some of these episodes has really blown my mind. The comments as well. I've gotten a lot more comments than I did during F1 23, for example. So yeah, thank you so much for that, and I'm looking forward to providing a lot more seasons as we look to now defend against Albon. So as you can see, that DRS is really helping him right now. We've only got 27% ERS to use, so Albon is going to have one final opportunity to perhaps steal P8 from us right now as Lando Norris wins the Grand Prix. Albon poked his nose down the inside, but we had just enough in the tank to end up still in P8. But yeah, as you can see, like I said, our tyre wear really caught up to Albon right there. So yeah, just goes to show how good the AI are at, I guess, saving on tyre wear. But it also, you know, they have different surface temperatures. I don't think they can overheat their tyres. So yeah, very different story. But either way, that wraps up Season 1 of F1 25 as we cross the line in P8. So yeah, a really good season. I'm really looking forward to Season 2. We're going to be going for the championship. Fingers crossed the car will be good enough as we move to Aston Martin.
The fans rise to their feet. It's Lando Norris for victory. We had drama from start to finish, but in the end, there was only ever one that could take that top spot. He holds the trophy aloft, and why shouldn't he? A richly deserved win today for Lando Norris.
Well, Lando Norris is on complete fire in these last few races, but of course Verstappen has been taking a few penalties here and there. Obviously, he can afford to do so. He'd already wrapped up the championship, but you know, if Nico Rosberg in 2015 was anything to go by, having really good form towards the end of the season going into the next one could spell championship glory for Lando Norris next season. Of course, Oscar Piastri will have a much better opportunity at the championship as well, given his driver rating boost. I'm curious to see where Hadjar ends up in Season 2. It's going to be a very exciting season, but it has been a really good season for us. P4 in the driver's standings, P4 in the constructors' standings, the all-time best finish for Racing Bulls, Toro Rosso, AlphaTauri, etc. And yeah, a really good rookie season for us right there as we enter a ratings rivalry with Yuki Tsunoda. We could have actually ended up taking that Red Bull seat from him if we really wanted to, but you know, I've already driven a Red Bull for one season. I don't think we need to drive the other one. I am really, really looking forward to getting into that Aston Martin seat, and hopefully, again, fingers crossed, we go for the championship. But thank you guys so much for watching this episode of F1 25 Driver Career. If you liked it, be sure to hit that like button as hard as you possibly can, comment, share, and subscribe. And I will see you all next time for Season 2 of Driver Career.